Welcome to the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. This is episode 134, and I am Jacob. I'm here with my co-host, Libby. Libby, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, too. Thanks for asking. It's spring. It's getting a little warmer here, so that's nice, and can't really complain. So this week on the podcast, I talked to, I know it's our first guest from Europe. So I talked to Guus, who's from Holland, and we talked a little bit about his experience with Kratom, and his addiction was mostly in secret, using, to deal with stress and a few other things. And it's a good interview, and I think you'll all enjoy it. So we'll get that teed up for you here in a minute. For our intro today, I wanted to talk with Libby a little bit about something that I actually heard in the episode that came out last week. So that was episode 132 with Natalie. Libby and Natalie were talking about histories of addiction and how they wish someone would have told them about what it can do to you and how painful it can be and all the things that you experience, in Kratom addiction or another addiction. And that really resonated with me. It really stuck with me so much that I sent Libby a message and I was like, hey, I want to talk about this. I don't know why. I think it was probably because I also have a family history of alcoholism and addiction, mostly untreated. Like most of my aunts and uncles, they're a lot older now and a lot of them still drink, and I don't think use, but definitely drink. I just thought that was interesting and more interesting in the fact that I'm trying to break that cycle and, be a little bit more vocal about it. Hopefully set a better example. I don't have children, but for nieces and nephews or, people I work with, that sort of thing.
Do your parents have addiction problems?
My father definitely does. I don't think he would admit it, but, I know what, I know the signs.
Yeah, my mother definitely. Same thing. She definitely does. She's like a closet alcoholic. And I think I really wish that there had been, even if not to admit that she had a problem, but just a conversation around, hey, addiction runs in the family or alcoholism runs in the family. And here's some things to look out for. And, as you age and as you become confronted with these substances, just have an awareness. There was no conversation around it. And I think that would have been supportive to just even as a little warning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That or more of the negative effects. Because I always, especially when I was younger, with my father and friends or uncles and parties like that, where everybody was drinking and stuff, all you ever saw was the fun part of it. You know what I mean? And the guilt and the shame and the waking up and feeling like, garbage because you're in withdrawals and all that crap. I wish I would have gotten a little more education on that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I think just informed consent, right?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, but my parents are baby boomers, and I think that's such a theme for baby boomers is just we don't talk about knowledge, or we don't talk about the bad stuff that goes on. There's a big let's sweep it under the rug kind of mentality. And I think that's really harmful, especially when you're talking about addiction. So
yeah, we don't want this to become a battle of the generations either. I'm an older millennial, and I'm sure we have a lot of faults too. But anyways, no, I think you're right though. There's definitely all of the things that are real prevalent now with talking about mental health and stuff like that. Wasn't much of a thing back when I was a kid. I'm really glad it has evolved into the way it has, because now I think it opens up a lot more opportunity for people to be vocal about the fact that they're sober. I don't yell it from the rooftops, but if someone wants to talk to me about addiction, or if, I'm at a work thing and someone asks me if I want to drink and I'm like, oh, I'll have a soda or whatever, or a sparkling water. And then they ask me why I'm not drinking or whatever, I'll tell them my story. I don't, I'll go as deep as I think I need to. And I usually find it's because they are questioning their own usage of substances or alcohol, or two, they have a family person they're worried about.
Yeah, I think that it's really important to talk about these things openly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Well, anyway, we'll get on to the interview with Guus from Holland, and hopefully it resonates with you out there. And for our listeners that aren't based in the United States, we'd love to hear from you. Not that we don't want to keep hearing from our listeners in the US, but we know you're out there and you're not alone. And if you want to get on the show, just get in touch with us. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. And thanks for chatting with me, Libby. Welcome to the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. My name is Jacob, and this evening on the podcast, I have the opportunity of talking to Guus. Guus, how are you doing this evening for you over there in Europe?
I'm doing quite all right, thanks.
Well, you are our first European guest, so I'm very excited because I know, obviously, Kratom is becoming a problem all over the globe, in Europe in particular. I've talked to some people online about it, but we're excited to actually get someone to do a full-length interview on the podcast. So, Guus, how would you introduce yourself to someone you just met? Things like age, profession, hobbies, location, anything like that?
So my name is Guus. I'm 33 years old, father of two. I'm a freelance sculptor and a props builder and a carpenter, all-around carpenter. So I do renovations and remodeling, furniture, lots of different things. And for fun, I really like old-time music. So I like to play banjo, harmonica. I just found out the jaw harp exists. So that's a fun thing to play around with.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I live in a 6-unit building, and my upstairs neighbor has a growing woodwind section. He's in like some sort of orchestra, but I always hear him playing like the bassoon and all these other instruments I haven't heard in a long time. So that's cool. I like old instruments and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. So it doesn't bug you. You actually enjoy it.
It doesn't bug me now. I have some music that I play that probably they hear too, so we get along.
Oh, yeah, cool. Cool. I hope my neighbors feel the same. I haven't had any complaints just yet.
Then they're probably fine with it, probably. But they'll let you know if they aren't, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. So let's get into the maybe not so fun stuff. Obviously, you've joined a Kratom Sobriety podcast. So why don't you tell me, first of all, when was your Kratom abstinence date? When did you finally break free of Kratom?
I had to look that up, actually. I haven't been counting days. Like that's a recurring theme in my life, though. Like I really have to actively focus to keep track of where I am in the week, in the year. So this is the same. But the actual date is the 28th of November 24. Then I tossed my stash for the, I don't know how many time. And that was the last time I did. So it's been a couple months.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, you got it several months clean. That's great. That's a huge achievement. Well, when did you first encounter Kratom and how did you come to try it? What interested you in trying it?
That must have been summer of 23, around July, August, somewhere about there. I was doing pretty intense construction work. I was doing, how do you call that? Rock carving from concrete, like making props, but like life-size mountains for zoos and stuff. And that's a job I really liked, and I got to work with some people I greatly respect and admire. But I had this painful medical issue that came up at the time. Like my stomach hurt so bad that sometimes it would just put me down on the floor, and I just had to lie on the floor, crawled up like an infant, and ride it out until I could stand up again. So that didn't work. And since I'm self-employed, if I wouldn't show up for work, money was going to be a problem like pretty soon. So I went to the doctor. Of course, they eventually they helped me and they found out what was what. But in the meantime, they gave me some oxy to just keep functioning.
Yeah,
that worked. I was on a low dose of oxycodone. Yeah, it didn't get me really spaced out or high or whatever. It just took the pain away and let me focus again for the first time in a long while. And I was like, this is good. This works. Okay, let's make some rocks. Let's keep going. Yeah, eventually those ran out because it's not something they put you on for a long time. So I went to look for an alternative, like a natural painkiller. Google that gets you to Kratom pretty soon. And I found out I can just get this at the smart shop. All right, it's worth a shot. Yeah, it helped for my stomach aches, and it helped for a lot of different things as well. So I just kept taking it even after like my stomach was all healed up and my gut was doing fine, I was still taking the stuff, and that just snowballed from there.
Okay. Did you ever have any history of substance abuse or addiction previously, or was this kind of the first time you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I did. It was mostly booze ever since that first beer. I was when I was 14. Like I just immediately fell in love. Like I knew. Like from then on, this is going to be a major part of my life. Yeah, and I experimented with a lot of different things. Stims, psychedelics, that kind of stuff. Party scene. I was hooked on speed, just regular speed, for like half a year or so. That went from 0 to 100 in like a week. And it was pretty intense while it lasted. I had some fun. And then I noticed like this is going downhill, like full throttle. So I just quit it and never looked back. And yeah, with the booze, like I had counseling like 2 times, but the best thing I could do to not really care about drinking anymore is become a father. Because, I mean, as soon as you get kids, drinking just ain't no fun. I mean, like I have 1 beer, I want 3. Like I have 3, I want 10, then I'm sick for a week. And I still have to like get up at 5 a.m., like change the diapers. And no way, man. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, my brother has 3 kids, and he said similar things. And yeah, there's we don't really have a lot of speed in the U.S. It was kind of I remember when I went to Berlin, Germany. I used to go all the time for work, and I went to a club, and someone was like, "You can buy a gram of speed for like I think it was like €10." I was like, "Oh, this is dangerous."
It's ridiculous. No, that's what all the poor people and artists and hobos do. Like, and I've been all 3 of those like simultaneously. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Now I notice it's not a thing in the US. Look, I guess you guys have just Adderall, like meds or methamphetamine, and there's nothing in between.
No, it's or cocaine if you're rich, I guess.
No, that was never worth it for me. I was like, I can get more bang for my buck the other way. Like, it was all very calculated.
Well, that's a whole other discussion. But let's talk a bit about your Kratom usage. Like, how did that progress? So you had the injury, you had the little bit of oxycodone to get you through the injury, you transitioned to Kratom, and then you liked it, so you carried on taking it. Were you, taking it daily just from the start, or did it kind of? Okay.
Yeah, no, just right off the bat. I mean, that's what I did with the meds, right? Like I had 1 to 3 tabs of oxy a day to just null everything out and keep me going. I took it the same way basically, and my plate was still full as ever. Even after I finished that one job, like while I was working there, my son was born. That's my second kid. Yeah, then there's a whole different set of responsibilities that comes with a newborn, especially if you try to work on the side as well. So I felt that there's always something going on. Like my plate is fuller than I can manage. And this helped. This helped a lot. Like also the first couple of months, like going on family holidays with the kids and try to have a fun time while they just are up every night screaming like through the whole night, and then you still have to like put on your happy face while you go bowling with them at 11. Like, and it wasn't playing pretend. I wanted to do those things. I wanted to play with the kids and bowl with my 2-year-old daughter that she's been looking forward to for so long, but I just couldn't do it on my own. And I found this magic trick that made everything work.
Yeah.
So, like I didn't really see a reason not to do it all the time. So that's how it went, like right from the start. And then, of course, you build up tolerance quickly. I figured ways to get more. Like I didn't buy small bags. I didn't buy it at the smart shop. I would just order it in bulk, like in kilogram bags of powder. I think I measured out the dose like once or twice when I started, and then I just started eyeballing it. Like I had a little container with me all day, every day, wherever I went, and this hot water bottle for yerba mate and other different kinds of tea.
Yeah,
and I really like that also as a substitute for coffee. So for everybody around me, it was just one of my weird little teas that I was drinking, like no further explanation needed. So that was good. Like I could just do it in front of everybody. And like, no, this is medicine for my stomach. It's just another weird organic tea. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, not atypical. I've talked to plenty of people that just kind of jumped right in first dose and decided, yeah, this is great. Might as well just keep doing it. Don't see any negative consequences. You read online, don't really see any negative. Why worry about it? At what point in your usage did you start to think maybe this isn't so good for me, and maybe this is a not a miracle and potentially a problem?
And in the back of my mind, I knew it right from the start. I wasn't oblivious to what I was taking. Like I looked it up specifically. I was searching for something natural that I could just buy that would mimic the effect of opiates. I knew what I was doing. The guy at the head shop even told me, like, he warned me, like, yeah, if you take this for too long straight, you're gonna have withdrawal effects. I was like, yeah, man, sure. Like, yeah, bite me. Yeah. I've had worse. Come on. Yeah, I knew what I was doing, but I totally underestimated it, I guess, or it just went in with a little too much bravura.
Yeah,
maybe that's it. I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't care what tomorrow brings. Like, I know this helps me now, and I need this now. Like,
yeah,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, I definitely put myself in that situation many times. I used to always say that's tomorrow Jacob's problem, not today's. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, what ultimately got you to the point where you were like, I need to quit this? And did it take you multiple times to quit, or did you just make that kind of decision in November of last year to get off and you were able to do it? What got you to that point, and then what did you do from there?
It was a bit more of a journey. Like I didn't get it in one go. I don't know what the first thing was that really made me realize, like, this is not good. I need to quit. But one thing that really stands out, which I remember, was pretty late in my Kratom journey. But I was standing in the middle of the day with 2 crying toddlers in the head shop to get my fix. Like, instead of taking them to the playground, I took them to the head shop. And my daughter was like, "Hey, Daddy, we've been here before. Look at the lights." I'm like, "Come on, man, what are you doing? this is not good." Like I said, I was quite well prepared. I made sure I always had 1 or 2 kilogram bags just hidden somewhere that I could take my stash to go with. But yeah, ever so often I got the idea, like, no, this is insane. Like, I'm not going to buy it in bulk anymore. I just take it from here and see what happens. And I would last like a day or half a day, and then I pulled it off to the head shop again. Like, kids know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was not good. And I definitely wasn't able to just quit the habit in one go. Like, it took I don't know how many attempts, like a lot of them. At a certain point, one of your interviewees, his story really resonated with me, so I reached out to the podcast and asked to be in contact with this guy, and that was good. That was really good. Well, we didn't really call because I couldn't figure out how to call an American cell phone, so we just kept in contact through email. But that worked out for the both of us. Like, ever so often, he would check in on me, and I would tell him like my worries and what I was going through, what I was trying, or if I messed up. And that was actually really big help for me because, like you mentioned earlier, Kratom is not a thing over here. Nobody knows about it. Not my friends, my colleagues, my family. Nobody has any idea. And I never really felt like coming out or explaining it either. So this whole time, it was just me, myself, and I on this Kratom journey. Like, I got myself into this mess, and I was going to get myself out. But I never really talked it through with anybody in real life. Like, only Jan through email, which was good. Like, he could share some experience and some tips and some pointers, and that helped. Like, he had this method, this grueling workout routine, and like me as a like 55, 60 kg scrawny construction guy, like, no way I could do it. I lasted for like 3 or 4 days, which felt awesome because, like, I ran just straight through through my withdrawals, and I had to drink such an insane amount of water. Like, it flushed all the crap right out of my system. Like, that worked for a couple of days until I completely crashed. Like, I really liked his story and his energy, but this was not for me. And I wasn't able to do it either because I got myself in a heap of trouble, work-related stuff, which required me to, like, blast out 100-hour work weeks for a couple months straight, or otherwise I'd go bankrupt. That was not good.
Okay. So you had some challenges there, yeah.
there was some other things to worry about. I tried to quit Kratom and do his schedule and, like, not go bankrupt and fulfill my role as a father, like, keep all those plates running like on the sticks, and no way I could do that. So it totally bombed and I relapsed. I felt really bad about it, and he could put it into perspective and comfort me a bit. That was good. Like, no, get out of this mess first and then take it one step at a time. That was good.
Yeah, that is really good. It's always good to connect with someone that can help, and particularly if they can help you formulate a plan, which it sounds like you did. And even if it doesn't work the first time, you crossed the threshold of desire and wanting to do it, and it's hard to go back from that.
Yeah, you're right. It's like as soon as you actively make the decision, like this is nonsense and I need to stop. Like, yeah, you can tell yourself that 1,000 times a day and nothing happens. But as soon as you tell somebody else that's going to check up on you, yeah, then you're accountable. Like even if it's somebody, in my case, that I've never met, half across the globe, sends me an email, I'm like, yeah, there was this thing I was supposed to be doing. And what did you do? Nothing. Okay, let's get back to ground zero. Let's examine this and figure out the next steps. That was very helpful in a way.
Yeah, I bet it was. I actually, in the September timeframe, this woman reached out to me on Reddit who actually lives in Holland as well. And she had a Kratom problem. And she said the same thing, that she even worked adjacent to the recovery space. And she was like, nobody knows about this. And we had kind of similar conversations around. It was funny. I was in Portugal for like 2 weeks and I was talking to her and she's like, and then I went back to the United States and she's like, your responses are taking a lot longer now. I was like, well, I'm 6 hours behind in time difference now. But anyways, I was kind of just giving her all these tips and helping her taper. And eventually she just got to the point where it wasn't working. And I really wanted to tell her, well, maybe you need to get more help, but I wasn't really comfortable doing that. But eventually she was like, I need to get some professional help. And that's what she did. She's been sober ever since. But just one of those stories.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The community that can help you, and then sometimes you need someone else to help you. You see a plan through and come up with a plan. But back to your story, so you had all that stress, you relapsed, and in November, what was the difference? What made you be able to put it down and then finally get over and get to a week, 2 weeks, a month, etc.?
Yeah, there was a pretty clear moment that I remember. Like that's how I was able to look up to date, because for the first time in a while I got back to my Sangha. That's my group of Zen Buddhist practitioners. We meet every week for like chanting and reading texts and meditating. Because of all the work related stress I got myself into, I haven't been able to attend any of it for like 2 months. And all this time, like all this year and a half, I've been on the Kratom. I kept telling myself, like, this doesn't get me high. It doesn't make me feel different or act weird. Like, I'm just me. I'm just not cranky and tired. Like, I function better. But that was as soon as after that gap, I got back to my Zen practice and we were doing the meditation. I just suddenly saw it. I'm like, I can't. I'm completely foggy. Like I have this massive brain fog. Like I can't. This is not me. Like there's this layer, like my windshield is grimy and dusty. Like I can't see clear.
Yeah.
And in my day-to-day rush, like I didn't notice it. But when I sat down for the formal Buddhist practice, suddenly like that's the thing you're trying to develop, a clear insight. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, this is mad. All of a sudden, I just realized it. And like I got back home, I tossed my stash, and that was day 0.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that worked.
Where did it go from there? What was your withdrawal like? Did you just quit cold turkey? Did you have any supplements? Did you get any medication? Or did you just kind of cold turkey it the whole way and get through it?
Yeah, I didn't really get any supplements. I didn't taper either. Like I tried that a couple of times on like with my personality.
I could never do it either.
No way. My addictive personality, no way I could do it. How people can keep like a wine rack in their basement in case guests come over is just beyond me. Like if I know it's there, it will bug me to no end until it's gone.
Yeah.
I completely unfathomable for me, like how somebody could be that way. But so no tapering for me. So I just tossed all the junk. I got proper sick, all right. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it was just me. So nobody knew what was going on. Like I felt sick. I still had to show up for work and for my wife and kids and all the duties that come with that. So yeah, my trick is it's not really, I don't know if I should mention it in the podcast. Like I don't want to trigger anybody, but I just hustled some painkillers and my buddy gave me some dexamphetamine to keep standing on my feet, because I couldn't do it by myself. And I tapered with those in a way, like I divided up into small bits.
Okay.
I could break the habit, but not go full blown sick right away and just fulfill all my duties, like do what needed to be done instead of just being a complete mess and collapsing, because I couldn't afford that happening. So that's lasted for a while, a couple of weeks, I think. But yeah, that was going nowhere. What did help is in the end, I'm making a jump here maybe, but what I found out is I actually have ADD.
Okay.
I never knew. It never crossed my mind, which is silly because all my life I've surrounded myself with people who have ADD. And I never recognized it or anything, never rang a bell. But until recently, a lot of different people who have nothing in common, they ask me, like, dude, you have ADD? Like people from work who have it. And I reached out to the doctor because I was getting really stuck in life with everything. And thinking 5 minutes of me telling my story, he was like, you have ADD? Like, come on, you too? Okay. So I looked into it and like what the hallmarks are. And I saw the whole list and I was like, God damn it, I can check all the boxes. Like, how could I not see this? So yeah, I got treatment for that. And they put me on proper medication instead of just hustling pills.
Yeah.
And which is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is a godsend actually, because for the first time in a long while, I feel myself again. Like I can think straight. Cravings are gone for Kratom, for booze, even for anything for that matter. Which is an intense experience because I haven't had that for over 20 years. There's always this itch, right? You're not supposed to scratch, and it takes all your willpower not to scratch that itch. But now that the itch is just gone.
Yeah, it's amazing that untreated mental health and how treating it can even flip that switch in your brain. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I had no idea it could work like that, but it puts things in perspective, like immensely. Like I've been doing a lot of thinking and trying to memorize stuff and see patterns, but it's always the same cycle of me taking on too much, diving in head first without proper preparations and getting myself in all sorts of trouble. And then I'm pretty crafty and creative, so I'm really good at troubleshooting. So I always get myself out of it. But that just takes its toll. Like it's so tiring. It's always the same cycle. I feel like Donald Duck. You know, he has a different job every week, and it always blows up in his face. And you know, I really feel like I'm living the life of Donald Duck. Like it's horrible. I hope now with this knowledge, I can break that pattern and get more organized and not stop getting myself into any sort of mess, like getting addicted to this nonsense substance.
Yeah,
I think all this while that was just self-medicating poorly, probably.
Yeah, it sounds like that was definitely an element of that. And like as you touched on, right, you had an unconventional way to get off Kratom, and it's good that you put a trigger warning there for the guests. But and I definitely wouldn't recommend quitting that way.
No, me neither.
But it takes what it takes. And I think the most important thing is that now you're 90 plus days off Kratom and you're in a much better place. You've got your mental health in a place where you can function and you're being present. And like you said, you're not trapped on that wheel of addiction. There's this game that I don't know if you have it in Holland, but when I was a kid, it was called Whack-A-Mole, and these like little moles pop up. This podcaster that does alcohol-based podcasts, he has this saying called addiction whack-a-mole. It's like you knock one down and then another one pops up. Yeah. And if you can get out of that cycle, it's great.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Jan said, like when I was in the midst of my mess, there's no way I could quit it. I had to clean up my mess first.
Yeah.
I think if you would try to quit Kratom or anything for that matter without figuring out what's causing you to keep taking that substance no matter the consequences, you're just playing whack-a-mole. Like even if you would manage to stay off the Kratom, like I bet you, like in a couple of weeks, you're gonna find the next thing. That's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and addiction is just but a symptom usually until you treat the root of the problem. That's why whether it's counseling or meetings or getting your mental health in check and finding the right medication to address those mental health disorders and whatnot, it can just persist. And you have to break that cycle in some way. So it sounds like you obviously haven't had any relapses since November.
No.
Outside of the mental health, treating your ADD, is there anything else you're doing to recover, stay clean and sober? Sounds like you got some Buddhist practice you've reintegrated with. Anything else? Yeah,
that's a good steady thing. I kept going the Buddhist practice. Like I've been doing that for over 10 years, I guess. I got ordained as a lay Buddhist practitioner as well, like 2 years back. So even if I'm unable to meet with the Sangha on a weekly basis, there's always this undercurrent that I try to keep going no matter what. There's always some inspiration I can fall back on. So that's good. I also reorganized a lot of things in life for this next year. I have so many interests and skills. Like I'm all over the place. I do different things. Like I make sculptures, artworks, public art. I do theme parks, zoos, custom builds, furniture, remodeling, you name it. Like it's all over everywhere, and everything interests me. And I can do it all. Like I love it all, but it's too much everywhere all at the same time, and I lose track, and I get myself in trouble. So I made the conscious decision to only do remodeling now for the next year at least. No side quests, no side missions. And I'm not contracting on my own because, as I figured with the new insights I gained, taking on contracts and projects solo with untreated ADD is a bad idea. It's going to end in disaster, like inevitably. So I quit that, teamed up with this guy who is actually really good at it. And as it turns out, has ADD as well, but he found a way to cope with it and like got all the strategies and systems to make it work. So not only is my work-life schedule normal, like it doesn't require 100-hour work weeks and pulling all-nighters. I can work a regular life as a regular guy, but I can learn a lot from this dude. Skills, but also being functional and organized with ADD. That's the plan. That's the schedule I laid out for this whole year. That gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, I bet it does. And being able to not only learn new skills in your trade and your craft, but also how to manage the other parts that come along with the craft. That's great. I guess another question for you is, did you have any consequences as a result of your usage or addiction? Any, problems with your family? Or you mentioned, obviously, you had some challenges with keeping everything going during those crazy 100-hour weeks, or anything financial or anything like that was directly related to your Kratom usage?
Yeah, I put my family through some mess. I was not fun. I was really, really tired and stressed out. I have to search for the word in English. Like it made me too courageous.
Yeah.
It made me cocky. That's the word.
Cocky, that's the word.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I took on too much, too fast, too complicated, and there was no way out but just going through. Yeah, that way my wife had to do all of the housework basically and take care of the kids and do all of that on her own because I was just off, just cleaning up my mess, leaving her to do all the other chores next to her demanding full-time job while I didn't even bring in any money or was of any support. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a pretty great wife, man.
yeah, I do. I really do. But there's some damage done. I'll be fine. It's all good. Like in the basis, our relationship is very good. Relationship with the kids as well. But you can't live like this for a year and a half and like not have any consequences. So, but I'm really confident that it's going to work out with the new plans I made for this year. And the relationship with the kids has instantly improved as well. Especially my daughter, who has the same character as me. She's very, very fiery. Yeah, she didn't like me. She said as much. She told me as much. She didn't want anything to do with me. Like I couldn't at some point. Yeah, I couldn't be near her. I couldn't touch her. Like we couldn't play games. Like that was horrible. Oh, wow. As soon as I got out of the Kratom woods and I got put on meds, suddenly I am who I was supposed to be all along. And she picks up on that like right away. So we're cool. We're really cool. Like so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, kids can really pick up on those things. Like you think you can keep things from them. They might not understand the ins and outs and the specifics of what's going on, but they can usually sense when something isn't right.
They do. Like especially with Kratom, you get really good at hiding your usage, hiding the effects from everybody around you. Like if I was spending a weekend out on a city trip with my girlfriend, I'd sneak off in the bathroom and like chuck the powder, like flush it down with some water. It was pathetic. I would do the same thing at work. Nobody noticed. Nobody ever how could I keep up with this for so long? Nobody noticed, but they do. The kids do.
They do, yeah. It's interesting. I think most adults, it's kind of like I remember when I quit drinking alcohol, one of the first things I think a lot of people think about is, well, everybody's going to notice when I go to an event and I'm not drinking. And, when people ask me for this, nobody notices, nobody cares. Everybody's focused on having fun and what they're doing and very self-involved. Not like to the point of like being self-centered, self-involved, but you're just not as interested in, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he didn't drink, but whatever. Like I think it's the same. Maybe they're just compartmentalizing it and not seeing it for some reason.
Yeah, there is a lot, when it comes to drinking, there is a lot less peer pressure than you would think there is. And in my experience, at least. And if there is a lot of peer pressure, then man, you got to check your social circles. Like that's not good.
You definitely do. Before we get into maybe a couple questions to wrap up, I was just curious, like you mentioned that nobody in the part of Europe you live in really knows about Kratom. It sounds like in Holland, the smart shops sell it, but is it growing? Are you seeing more people using it? Were you the only one when you'd go in buying it? Just kind of curious.
No, well, I couldn't be the only one buying it because they wouldn't have it on stock.
That's right.
Right. But like I've never heard anybody mention it or using it. Like, and I've been asking the guys behind the counter about their experiences with different veins, brands, or whatever. But they just looked at me oblivious, like, dude, people just buy shrooms here. What do you care? Just buy the damn package and go. Right there. Yeah, they were like, I don't know, uninterested, stoned 20-year-olds. They didn't care. They had no idea.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a thing as far as I know of. And also the healthcare professionals that I've spoken with, like my doctor, who is very open-minded, like into alternative medicine as well. Next to his regular practice, but he had no idea. Neither did my psychologist. No, it doesn't ring a bell. It's not a thing here in Holland, which for me was unfortunate because it felt mighty lonely
I bet.
to figure it all out on my own. But it's a good thing because that means like not as many people are getting trapped by this nonsense as you have in the US.
Yeah, I would much rather have less people know about it and not have all these concentrated products and formulations and stuff we have over here. And hopefully it stays that way and you guys don't have an explosion of it like we have over here. I think there's a bit difference in opinions and preferences of substances and stuff too that probably play into it. If someone was to come to you and hear this podcast and just say, I'm struggling with Kratom, what's your top tip for me to think about getting off and quitting? What would you advise them to do?
It's what we touched on earlier. Using Kratom, especially getting addicted to it, is not a problem in and of itself. It's a symptom of something else. If you have this problem, if you got yourself addicted to Kratom or any other substance for that matter, like instead of just focusing on that and playing whack-a-mole, try to find the underlying issue. Get yourself checked out. Talk to somebody. Talk to your doctor. That's what got me started. At a certain point, I got so stuck. I got so depressed, like I was this close to just not getting out of bed anymore in the morning. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I went to visit the doctor and like I told him the whole thing, spilled my guts. That's when the ball got rolling and I got the ADD diagnosed and I got the meds. And suddenly it all makes sense. Like, and I can build on my life the way I want it instead of just getting stuck in this loop. There's no way I could have quit the Kratom, I think, if that was my only focus. The quitting per se is no, you're using it because something is up, something's bugging you. What are the things that make you angry or upset? What are the things that keep you up at night? You know, things you regret doing or that you regret not doing. Write it all down. But if you write all these things down, you have a list that's pointing in some direction that might help you find what it is that drives you to this addiction.
Yeah, that's great advice. The getting to the root of it, and like you said, the willingness to reach out and to open up, those things are what'll get you, if you're listening to this podcast, get you in a place where you're not only able to quit Kratom, but you're able to stay quit. And quitting Kratom just to quit Kratom or not be dependent on a substance is great. But I think the real benefit of not being addicted to Kratom or really any substance is the transformation of your life. Because I think we sought out Kratom in most cases because we thought it was going to improve our life or our mental health or address an ailment. And if you're going to get off it and just quit it and be miserable, that's not great. You want to quit it and actually get at the reason as to why you wanted to use it in the first place so you can live a happy and healthy and productive life. So I think that's very valuable.
Yeah, you're totally right. And like just quitting the stuff like isn't going to get you there, because I think normal, healthy people are not going to get addicted to Kratom. Something's probably up if you're this far in. Like if you're listening to this podcast, if you're this far in, and you struggle to quit, then something is up and you need to figure out what that is and address that. Do that first. Like Jan told me, clean up your mess. Once you're out of the woods, take it from there.
Yeah, that's great advice. Also, don't try to do too much, I think is good. I remember I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago and they were like, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to quit Kratom. I'm going to quit drinking, and I'm going to do it all at once.
I know.
Like, maybe try one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's the story of my life. Like, no, I want to do it all at once, all at the same time, which results in me doing not any of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too much. It's like, I don't know if it's a American saying or more just a general saying. It's like, you have to eat an apple one bite at a time. You can't just eat the whole thing, I guess a couple, maybe one or two more questions, and then we can wrap up. So I always like to ask something non-Kratom related that might be a little fun to let the listeners learn a little bit about you. So do you have a favorite movie or TV show you'd recommend?
Not really. Like I consciously kind of stopped finding new series to watch because, that's maybe addictive personality as well, or also the way Netflix and all these platforms are set up. They're set up to get you hooked from the bat. And if I start a show, I like mini series, like 3 episodes or movies or so. But if I see it as like, I blasted through 20 seasons of The Walking Dead or whatever. No, I try to not do that too much. Yeah, I'd rather spend that time learning a new song on the banjo, for instance.
There you go.
Yeah, I transitioned from watching movies to learning new songs, like old-timey clawhammer, banjo. I love it. Like harmonica, a bit of guitar, jaw harp. And I finally found a group of people to play with as well.
Awesome.
There is not really a bluegrass old-time community here in Holland, not that much, but I'm discovering as of late that there is, but you need your entry, you need to find your entry in there somewhere. And I did. That's good. So we try to meet every week and play some tunes. That's
cool.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to share that interest with some other people, because the interest in banjos and old time music here is pretty low. And I noticed I was like the Asperger kids who like dinosaurs and can't shut up about it, everywhere I go. I got pretty lukewarm responses at best.
That's cool, though. Well, I'm glad you found a group that's cool that is interested in similar music, and send some our way so we can maybe check it out at some point. Last question, then. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that maybe you wish I would have, that you want to provide an answer to the audience, or are there any questions or any final thoughts you want to share before we wrap up?
This is one thing. I didn't squeeze it into my rambling just yet, but now I will. I looked on the Reddit page a lot because I didn't tell about the Kratom journey. I didn't share it with my wife even. And there were a lot of questions about that on the Reddit forum. Like, man, should I complain to my wife, this and that? The advice is always, yeah, man, you totally should. Because my wife has been such a rock and I couldn't have quit without her. Good for you. Good for everybody who could do it that way and had that support. But I had a feeling somewhere for me that it wouldn't play out that way. Yeah, and I also felt like I got myself into this mess. I got a lot of mess on your plate as well. For my wife, for my kids, I made everybody miserable. I'm not going to ask you to back me up on this. No, I'm going to take care of this. And I'm going to see it through and I'm going to fix it. And that's what I did. In the end, after I already quit for a while, I tried to tell her a bit, and because Reddit told me, and I was so nervous for that, man. It was like coming clean after cheating or something. That's how it felt. So I explained a little bit about the Kratom and the weird tea, and that it makes you sick if you quit it and all that. And she was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "What?" That was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out what works for you. If you feel like your wife or your family or your friends are gonna help you, then ask for that support. If you feel like you need to take care of it yourself and you don't want to bother anybody else necessarily, if you can do it that way, then that's the way to do it. Don't feel obliged to tell everybody and take them into your Kratom story. Because you can find like-minded people everywhere. On this, on the Reddit, through this podcast, for instance, if you need somebody to talk to, you can reach out. There are other channels that will be more understanding because they know where you're coming from.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think the advice of tell your spouse, tell someone, a friend, etc., It's helpful because of the accountability, but like you said, you found accountability through Jan, and then you went to see your doctor, and there's multiple ways to be accountable. And you're right, it's very situational. For me, it's like anything that's black and white on advice. It's like, you must do this, you must not do that. I usually try to avoid those because I've never found anything in life that isn't a little bit like situationally different. So, but that is a good point. Like, there's even me, like, my wife knows all about my addiction stuff, but it's just because I put her through so much crap.
But you made it out together, man. Good for you.
We did, yeah. But, I could also see the appeal of not telling her. And like, I haven't told my mom or my dad all about my Kratom addiction. And I don't think I ever will because, I'm 43. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I haven't lived at home in 20 years, and I live hundreds of miles away. So it's like the couple times I see them a year, what am I going to do? Tell them all about my addiction and get into it for no good reason? Exactly. What's the point?
Yeah, there is no point. It would just get them worried or puzzled or whatever, but it's just not going to be beneficial to anybody involved.
Exactly. All right. Well, Guus, it was very nice getting a chance to chat with you. I'm sure that it'll be great to let our listeners hear from someone in Europe. And if anybody else is listening to this in Europe and you're interested in coming on, please do. I know there's definitely more people out there across the globe that are struggling, and we want to get as many voices as we can on the podcast to, let people know they're not alone across the globe.
Yeah, I'm happy to have been part of that through this episode.
Cool. Well, have a wonderful night, and thanks again.
Thank you too.